Hey guys, Ben here, welcome back to another video. Today we got a good video for you guys. We got some new news in regards to Grant Gustin potentially returning as the Flash or another character in the DCU. Plus also we got some news about James Gunn and his plans of promoting a Superman Legacy, or now just Superman trailer, later in the year, and his priorities. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DC TV videos later this year. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about our first piece of news. This is to do with James Gunn, and he's commented on Grant Gustin potentially joining the DCU. This has been something we've obviously been talking about since the Flash film came out, because like a lot of you guys, I was extremely surprised that out of all the cameos in the Flash film, Grant Gustin didn't even show up. That was just absolutely shocking. I put that down to Andy Muschietti not being a major Flash fan, being too much of a Batman and a Superman fan, and that's why all those cameos were there, and that's why Grant was ignored. And I think that kind of infuriated us as fans of The Flash, because Grant has been so pivotal in terms of forming The Flash and making The Flash really popular. I don't think Ezra did much to add like new fans to The Flash, so I definitely think that's all on Grant Gustin. And so with all of that, we've been speculating, okay, is there any chance that Grant could potentially return as The Flash, whether it's his Arrowverse Flash or as a different version of The Flash? We talked about that recently, but James Gunn has actually gone ahead and commented, and this obviously comes after Grant Gustin commented that if James Gunn asked him to return as The Flash, he would return as The Flash in the DCU. And so James has responded to a fan on Threads, and this is his answer. Grant is an incredibly talented guy performing now on Broadway, and is absolutely not going to waste just because he's not currently in a DC project. But of course I would love to work with him at some point. So obviously from this comment you can take away what you want from it. Like, you can definitely have your own interpretation, but I think the baseline is, okay, Grant would be great to have at some point in the DCU, but he's not going to be rushing him into that. He's not going to be desperately going after Grant whilst he's performing on Broadway. Also, it's nice to see that James actually kept track of what he is doing. So that means, you know, he's on his radar. It's not like he's totally off the radar. And so Grant is admired by James, and if he wanted to bring Grant back as the Flash, I'm sure James would. And it's just nice to get some sort of acknowledgement that of course he would like to work with him at some point, whether it's as the Flash or not. James doesn't go into that. So, you know, if Grant does come back, it could be as another DC character. There's been lots of speculation of like Jason Momoa showing up, not playing Aquaman but playing Lobo, or same thing has gone for like Henry Cavill potentially playing another character in the DCU. And so obviously the same thing could happen to Grant, but I'm going to say it's quite unlikely as of right now that Grant is going to show up in the next couple of years. He could show up later down the line in the DCU. It depends how successful it is. It depends if they want to get into the Flash, and maybe the main Flash in the DCU is going to be Wally West, who is a bit younger. Then you can have a slightly older Barry Allen. Yeah, Grant isn't old. He's in his 30s. You know, in 5 years' time, he's not going to be that old. He'll still be in his 30s. But also, he doesn't look very old. So he can play a slightly older version of Barry, who is almost like a mentor figure to Wally West in the DCU. That is not far-fetched. Like, that could happen. They absolutely don't need to go with a Barry Allen Flash. Like, that's not a given. So don't expect that. Like, we could get a Wally West when the time comes. But the impression is, probably for now, we're not going to go too much into the Flash just after the film. And, you know, it kind of was a big flop. And I think, you know, people are just kind of sour on it, and that's why everyone is so big on Grant Gustin, and that's why people have been asking him, that's why people have been asking James, and it's just really nice to see the acknowledgement that, yeah, Grant is great, and it would be amazing to work with him, but at the moment, Grant's busy, James is busy with the DCU and what he is building, so at least Grant is on his radar. It could happen at some day. I think that is the simple answer to breaking this down, is that could happen one day, but not for now. So that's enough on that topic. Let's move on to our next topic. So as we all know, Superman is filming right now. They are in Norway. They're going to be moving to America at some point in the near future. But for now, James Gunn has revealed that he is not going to be returning to Comic-Con this year. After a fan on Threads asked him, is he going and is he excited for Comic-Con this year? And he simply replied, I will be shooting, full stop, and gave nothing else apart from that. Now, of course, there could be some sort of surprise, but for now, we're just going to have to accept that this is just what's going to happen this year. I was looking forward to San Diego Comic-Con because it hasn't been a huge thing since 2019, since before the pandemic, because studios haven't been choosing to come back. San Diego Comic-Con is actually dying. Like, it's just not getting the big kind of studios involved, and it's not enticing them enough, because now they know, okay, we can promote our stuff by ourselves. They learned that over the pandemic. Obviously there was DC Fandom for DC, but they don't even do that anymore. So I'm just wondering, when are they going to do any promotion? Like, are they just going to do it via like news articles? Is that the way forward for DC? I'm very kind of confused, just because I know James Gunn is a Comic-Con fan, and yes, he's going to be filming, presumably still with Superman, by the time of Comic-Con in July in San Diego. But in the past, that hasn't been an excuse that they were busy filming. Like, if you guys remember the Arrowverse shows, like, they would start filming like 1-2 weeks before Comic-Con would start, and then what they would do is they would give their actors and they would give everyone a break for like, I don't know, 3-4 days, and then they would go back to shoot. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility for these big studios like Warner Brothers and obviously DC Studios with inside Warner Brothers to give people 3 days off and to go fly a couple of people to San Diego to promote the film. Like, it just makes sense. However, I understand that with Superman, they're releasing it a year later, so maybe releasing a teaser trailer at San Diego Comic-Con is just too early in summer 2024, and maybe they would want to start their actual promotion campaign like 6 months, say, before. So maybe they would go to New York Comic-Con in October. Maybe that's like a better deal for them, but I just get the feeling that James Gunn has this new strategy. I don't know what that exact strategy is, but he's definitely going to be ignoring Comic-Con as far as what he is telling us. I've heard online some people speculate that he might do like a surprise Hall H kind of panel, but then I feel like with him saying, no, we're not going to Comic-Con, why would any of us who is, say, a major DC fan rather than like a Marvel fan or a fan of all the other stuff that goes to Comic-Con, why would we book tickets to go to San Diego, where it's like a very expensive place? It's a big deal to go there, especially if you don't live in America, or even if you live in America, it's expensive to go to these conventions. So why would we sign up and why would we pay money to go just expecting a surprise appearance from James Gunn in the DCU? Like, I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't think James would do that to fans. So if they did surprise people, it wouldn't be a surprise to DC fans, because most DC fans probably aren't going to be there. So anyway, that's just my kind of 2 cents on that situation. But yeah, what do you guys think they're gonna do? Are they going to promote it just like a normal film, you know, that isn't involved in any superhero content, like just ignore Comic-Con and just release it by itself, like just a normal teaser trailer and a normal trailer, and then release everything on their own kind of schedule? Now, this is not to say that Warner Brothers won't be there themselves. Like, of course, Warner Brothers are probably going to have like a small presence at least. Plus, also, if they are shooting, that doesn't mean that, you know, the other cast members that aren't shooting for those couple of days can't show up to San Diego Comic-Con. So they could have like a small Superman panel or a small DCU panel. Maybe Peter Safran goes and there's a couple of actors, and they just talk about Superman, they talk about Creature Commandos. Like, I probably do expect Creature Commandos to go there, but it's just weird that James wouldn't be there, because James wrote the show and he's kind of pioneering the DCU, and he is the spokesfigure behind Warner Brothers' latest big DC project. But one other thing that kind of sparks the mind when he says, okay, not going to Comic-Con, I'll be shooting, I think they did mention recently that there is going to be some sort of big announcement in terms of the DCU. I think he mentioned it maybe at the 1-year anniversary of the announcement of the DCU. So could we get some sort of big announcement or a new style of DC fandom in the next like 6 months or so, or maybe even a year? Let me know, what do you think about that? Like, do they have other plans is my question. So it simply means that James Gunn's going to be preoccupied, he's going to be busy when July hits and Comic-Con hits, so he's not going to be there, but that doesn't mean Warner Brothers and DC can't be there as well. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, I know it's been like a mix of two topics, but you know, I think they're both interesting topics by themselves. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help this video get out there. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And remember, go back on my channel. We upload pretty much daily right now in terms of all DC content in general, whether it's DCU, DC TV, or anything like that. So go check out those videos over the last couple of days. But for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.